Hey there, coming to you from a little bit different location this time at Assembly Hall for Inside Indiana Overtime. I'm Alex McCarthy with Inside Indiana. Of course, I'm in the north lobby of Assembly Hall right now because down on Branch McCracken Court, the crew here is preparing everything down there for graduation, which is actually in less than 12 hours. So that's interesting. I'll actually be partaking in that, finishing my college career tomorrow. But for tonight, it's all basketball and not very pretty basketball. Indiana beats Nicholls State 79-66. Not exactly a convincing, reassuring win after Indiana loses to Notre Dame last weekend, but a win nonetheless. It's Indiana's 9th win of the season, and it came after a fairly ugly, sloppy, kind of all over the place first half, and then the second half was a little better. I mean, Indiana shot 17% better in the second half than it did in the first half. Shot 62% in the second half, and obviously 45% in the first half. But still, there were problems throughout. Indiana turned the ball over 20 times, which is the high for the season, and it's been a season where they've been turning the ball over quite frequently. So 20 turnovers is just an enormous number that Indiana. Weirdly, the players and Tom Crean didn't seem too worried about it after the game, saying that they'll fix it, that they'll figure it out. But they're kind of running out of time. They only have one game left before Big Ten play. So you'd think that if they're going to figure that turnover problem out, or at least get it a little bit better, then they should probably figure that out fairly soon. But Yogi Ferrell kind of put the team on his back in the second half. I think he only shot a couple times in the first half, and then in the second half was just making everything happen on offense. I mean, they were stagnant. They were just kind of all over the place, disorganized on offense in the first half. And then in the second half, Ferrell was able to. They started pushing the ball up the court a lot faster, kind of getting Nicholls State on their heels and kind of opening up the offense a little bit from there. And Ferrell had 7 assists compared to no turnovers in the second half. He ended with 8 assists and 4 turnovers for the game. It ends with a team high 16 points. Wilshie and Jeremy Hollowell finished with 14 points, and they obviously in the second half benefited quite a bit from Ferrell. They were really efficient from the floor. Ferrell was, I guess he was 4 for 5 in the second half from the floor. Hollowell was 3 for 3. Sheehy was 3 for 5, I think. And so, and a lot of that just really spawned from Ferrell. I mean, it's increasingly obvious how dependent Indiana's offense is on Yogi Ferrell. When he plays well, the offense usually looks fairly well put together. When he doesn't play well, they get in trouble, and they either can't move the ball, or they move it too quickly, or they get out of control. And tonight we saw kind of the two sides of that, where when Ferrell was off in the first half, they looked off. They turned the ball over 11 times, shot 45%. Second half, they still turned the ball over quite a bit, but he didn't, and they shot 62%, and were really able to pull away. And interesting, kind of weirdly, Nicholls State actually outscored Indiana in the second half, but a lot of that was with garbage time stuff at the end, where Indiana was kind of putting a lot of its bench players out on the court. And Indiana did that all night. Johnny Marlin saw the court in the first half, which I don't think has ever happened here. And they played all 18 players. At least, basically everybody, I think, got at least a minute in the game. And that was really the theme the whole night. It wasn't just putting in all your walk-on guys at the end. It was getting guys like Marlin involved in the fold early, and just, I mean, they just played everyone. Tom Crean said after the game he wasn't experimenting with lineups, but there were tons and tons of different lineups. I mean, if I had tried to keep count, I would have lost count with all the various lineups and all the just completely different setups that they had out on the court tonight. But it worked well enough. They won. They get out of here with that 79-66 victory. They take on Kennesaw State on Sunday at noon. Another one of those quick turnarounds for IU, and they should be fairly well off for that game. And then obviously there's a little bit of a break, and then they start Big Ten play. Back here, I think it's back here against Michigan State, or I actually haven't really looked that far ahead. I'm taking it one game at a time, as they say. But for tonight, that's basically about it. There really isn't a whole lot to talk about with this game. Indiana wins, doesn't win pretty, but and doesn't really erase very many doubts. I mean, there were still just all kinds of issues that Indiana still has to figure out in the next couple weeks before Big Ten play. And we'll see if they do that. Maybe Sunday will be a little bit stronger effort. Maybe Sunday will be a little bit more like the second half tonight was, where they were clicking quite a bit more and being able to really figure out what they do well and executing it. But we'll find out then. Like I said, I think that game's at noon. I'll be there. Robbie will be there instead of on the road in Nebraska like he was tonight. And we'll all be out. So join us on the thread. Keep watching Inside Indiana Overtime if you're one of our loyal watchers, and we'll talk to you then. Have a good rest of your weekend. I'm Alex McCarthy from Inside Indiana, and thanks for watching.